I said to you guys, we would be lucky to win 1 out of our last 3 remaining away games. I said to you guys we would lose against Wolves, and I said we would lose against Leicester. You only have to go back and listen to my previous videos to tell whether I was being honest or not. And look, this ain't got nothing to do about opinions. This has got to do with a fact. And the fact is, this team ain't good playing away from home. Listen, they've won just 2 out of their last 12 away games. We're talking about Wenger-esque Arsenal from the end of last season. I mean, they haven't scored as many goals as last season, and they're only 2 goals shy of letting in more than in Wenger's last year. So let's just look, forget about the losses. We're not going to make top 4. I said that to you in the last video, so let's just move on from that. This is also the reason why I said to you guys, do we focus on Valencia or do we just focus on getting in the top 4? And most of you, in fact the majority of you, all said, let's do both, we can do both, we can get top 4. But no. The reason why I asked you the question is because I wanted you to look into what was going in with more insight, that this team can't do both. That's why I asked the question. I asked the question because I knew that this team couldn't do both. It was that they've only got the capacity to focus on what they can see, and what they can see in terms of Valencia and then Chelsea is a path to the Champions League. There's 3 issues here that we have to deal with. 1 is the chopping and changing of formations. I mentioned this before in quite a few videos. There's just too much confusion. 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 3 at the back. There's just too much confusion, and there's so much rotation. There's no consistency there whatsoever, and there's no surprising that the team has not settled down. But you know, that is secondary in terms of the other 2 problems. The other 2 problems are more apparent, and the first one is pressing. So do you remember when I talked about the 22 game unbeaten streak and how much this team, how hard they worked, how much they pressed? Well, guess what? Since Christmas, that's almost been invisible. And I have said this before, but I'm just saying it again because I'm trying to prove a point that there are certain things and reasons why we are getting the results we're getting. And you know, in this league, whatever you put in is what you get back, and we're not putting a shift in. We're not working hard enough, and it's showing in our results. Not so much. When we're at home, we're hungry, we're busy, they got the crowd behind them. There's a different level of expectation because of obviously what we're doing. Now, what spoilt that was the rotation and the team sheet, a really poor team sheet from Emery against Crystal Palace. So that's what kind of knocked that out. Had we had a team on the field that could do it, I have no doubt we would have won against Palace. We would have won that game. But away from home, the tactics are awful. The formations are wrong. We've hardly gone with 2 up front. I mean, I know we did against Leicester, but you know, we had 10 men, so what can you say? But in most other appearances, he's been dropping one strike or the other, and mostly for the Europa League. But there's just no pressing at all. I just can't see. Remember the Spurs game when we won 4-2? And we even went away to Spurs and had a draw. There was none of that pressing there. It's just completely disappeared. And I just don't understand the reason why. Why is this happening? So guys, we've got the pressing and we've got the formations. That's been 2 of the biggest reasons why. And of course, the overall thing is there's just been no passion and a direction from Emery. Like Emery came out today and said he doesn't blame the players, he blames himself. All right, you've made your mistakes with the team sheet and everything. You know, the thing about this league is, regardless how you tell the players to play and what formations you choose, it's not finite to the result. The result is always going to be based on how much you put in. And then players haven't been doing anything. They have not worked hard, and they've been outworked, especially away from home. Why is our home record so good and our away record so bad? Because what happened to Wenger last season is happening to Emery this season. The players are just going on the pitch and they're just not giving it 100%. And no matter how many managers you go through, unless you fix that, you're never going to fix the result. I have no idea what they're going to do against Valencia this week, but hopefully they're going to be up for it, because this comes down on them. This comes down on the poor reflection of what they're doing on the field, the lack of heart and desire, the lack of running and pressing. I mean, outside of Torreira, who else is doing that? You know, the first goal, when the cross came in, I talked about it in matchday commentary. Mkhitaryan was what, 5 yards from him? All he needed to do was put pressure on the cross. That's it. The cross was brilliant. The header was even better, and Leno had no chance. We just looked so sloppy at the back. I mean, again, Mustafi, Socrates wasn't at his best, and that was never 2 yellow cards for Niles. And you know what, guys, even if they were yellow cards, let's give the referee the benefit of the doubt. Leicester had 3 players that had made harsh tackles before that, and none of them were booked. They all got a warning. Those were the only 2 tackles that Niles made. He never got a single warning. He just got straight yellows. So this is another thing where I think that the officiating is just so inconsistent. How it never works in our favour. It really doesn't. I mean, I'm just trying to think of a scenario why you would let 3 Leicester players off and give them warnings, and as soon as the Arsenal guy makes a tackle, you take your card out. He is late, and he does catch him on the second. It's soft, but he does catch him on the second tackle. But there's no warning. It's like 2 soft yellows. Where's the consistency? But all said and done, Leno just played out of his wits. I mean, he was fantastic. But just nobody running around, closing down. And I made a point about Mkhitaryan for the first goal, not closing down on the cross. He's standing 5 yards from the player with no desire to go and close him down. Klasnach on the other side, when we were attacking, he had 6 or 7 crosses blocked. Every time he tried to cross the ball in, it was blocked and went out for a corner or for a throw-in or whatever. The fact of the matter is, the right back that was playing at Leicester, he closed our wingers down every single time and did not allow us to get a cross in. And the one time it was supposed to be done on our side, what did we do? We just sat off and let them cross the ball. It was a brilliant cross as well, and a great header, and Leno couldn't do anything about the first goal. But that set the tone. It set the tone because of our laziness to get out and challenge Leicester players, get in front of their faces and disrupt their play. We weren't interested. And this thing with Emery now is going to come back to bite him, because remember, guys, he signed a 3-year deal. The 3rd year is an option. So what Ivan Gadiza was basically saying at the time was, if you don't get this fixed in 2 seasons, then you're not going to be able, you're going to be out the door. So they didn't favour him by giving him any money to spend in January, because he couldn't spend. So it wasn't the fact that there was no money. He couldn't spend because of financial fair play. But they've got to give him something this summer in order for him to succeed. Otherwise, he's there to just fail. Just like Wenger failed in his last year. You're just there to fail. You've got a lot of sloppy players who are not pulling their weight. The defence is terrible and needs fixing. There's no investment, real investment there. And unless anything changes, then it's just going to keep going downhill. Nothing's going to change. We've seen, although the points are better, the goals scored and goals conceded are relatively the same. The mindset and desire of the players now, not in the 22 game winning streak, at the beginning of the season, when we were winning all them games, we were working hard for it. We deserved the results because of the amount of pressure and heart that we were putting into those displays. But that's not what's happening now. And it's hard, outside of Torreira and maybe Lacazette, I'm hard pushed to talk about anybody who's really trying out there. What can you say? I mean, right now, Emery is fighting for his life, because he has to, next season, justify the fact that he needs another contract. So we're going to leave it right there, guys. I could see this coming. And I'm sure if you had an understanding of what's going on, that you would have seen the same thing. So there's no point crying about it. You know, we know what these guys are like. It isn't no surprise. Yes, it's a bit of a disappointment because top four has been such an easy target. And it's just a shame that these guys didn't work hard enough for it. All right, man. Peace out. See you guys later.